Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to step between the ropes and enter the squared circle.
Yeah.
All right, what's up, man? How's it going?
Chilling, man. Just got home from practice and waiting in a line at the gas line over at Costco. So now I'm home and relaxing before I go to work tonight.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Victor Henry. He's making his UFC debut next week at UFC 270. That's January 22nd. All right, man. Well, how's it feel to be making your debut on such a big card?
I mean, it's pretty tight, man. I mean, cards and fights, they're all pretty much the same. I mean, the goal is always the same
For sure.
for the opponent and for you. I mean, they're going to try to sock you in the mouth a few times until you're knocked out. So, it could be a small card in Vegas, and it could be a big card in California. It don't matter. They're all going to sock you in the face.
That's definitely true. That's the name of the game. Originally, you agreed to take this fight on short notice, but it's been rescheduled a couple times. Are you happy with the extra preparation, or is it frustrating to you to keep getting rescheduled?
I mean, it is what it is. With a guy like Honey, he's a arguably top 15 guy. So
Yeah.
no matter how long you have to prep, it's gonna be a tough fight no matter what. So whether it's on a week notice, 2 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice, it is what it is. It helped, but in some ways it doesn't help. Like, yeah, you could prepare your body a little bit more, but mentally you're defeating yourself and things can go wrong in the gym. And sometimes the short camps are the better camps.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. Do you train under Josh Barnett still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's awesome. How'd you get started training with him and stuff?
Well, I had a team over at this was years ago, but my coach at the time was training us out of some gym in LA, like in the Hollywood area. And my trainer at the time, Jimmy Romero, he invited Josh to teach a seminar. And I remember watching Josh in Pride and everything. I was like, well, shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him all sorts of questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him everything, anything and everything. And what ended up happening was the team broke up because my trainer couldn't afford to teach anymore. And since I was kind of asked out because I lived far away from Hollywood, I lived in Southgate.
Okay.
And there's nothing in Southgate. I didn't have any team. I had nothing. So then Josh hits me up because a friend of his actually trained with us and was like, hey, you need to hit Victor. I think Victor's got some potential to do something with this. So hit up Victor and tell him to go, train with you. So Josh actually didn't take me under his wing right there. What ended up happening is he called me and he goes, hey, show up to CSW on Monday. And I said, bro, I ain't got a job. I can't pay membership. He goes, that's not what I told you. I said, show up to the gym. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I showed up and then he gave me some stuff to do. And then I did it to the best of my ability. And I tell people this all the time. They ask me, hey, how come Josh won't train me, but he trains you? And I tell people this all the time. You have to consider that Josh has probably, because I've heard it all. I've heard it for a long time. Hey, I think I have what it takes to be a fighter. I think I have what it takes, or I can do this, I can do this. And I just tell them, well, why don't you go try doing this? And they don't get their diet in check, or they don't do the extra running, or they don't drill, or they don't, they just, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I thought you had what it takes, but then you don't even do the extra stuff. Well, Josh, I imagine, has heard it 2 or 3 times more than I have.
Definitely.
So anytime he gave me anything to do, I would drill it. I would drill it after practice. I would ask him questions on techniques. I would ask him. I would almost harass him.
Yeah.
So then eventually, when I started doing the things that he was telling me, I would, anything, he would go compete at this grappling. Like, oh, I got 2 notice. Okay, I'm going. Do this, do that. I would just do it. And then from there is when he started taking me more under his wing, because he saw that I was putting in the effort to be the best that I could be.
Gotcha. So, if you were gonna give a up and coming fighter some advice, I mean, obviously this is your UFC debut, but you're very experienced. You fought in Rise and you fought for Pancrase for Deep. Is that the advice you'd give? Just make sure you do the extra stuff, and it's not about just doing it; it's about doing the stuff in between.
Yeah, it is. I would definitely, that would be that it would be one of those. But also a lot of things that even established fighters don't understand sometimes is it's not only the things that you do as far as drilling and everything. It's also the things that you don't do.
Yeah,
You can't be out till 2 in the morning drinking, messing with girls, doing all sorts of stuff, and expect to get up at 9 a.m. or at 7 a.m. Like in this case for this camp, I'm getting up at 5:30 a.m.
yeah,
So I can go box, run, and then practice, and then you can't expect yourself to have a full night's rest,
yeah,
go and spar the next day to the best of your ability. You
yeah,
have to be able to sacrifice that going out time. You
for
can't
sure.
put that certain kind of food in your mouth if it's gonna make you super overweight.
Yeah,
It's not always the things that you do; it's the things that you don't do.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely great advice in anything. How did you get started in MMA? Did you originally wrestle in school, or did you just start MMA from the ground up?
Nah, I pretty much from the ground up, man. I started with Taekwondo.
Okay,
Um, yeah, it was in high school, and my high school didn't have football. I wanted to play football,
gotcha.
but they didn't have that. So, and here I am, 5'7". So that was probably a good idea that I didn't get into that, or else I would have been murdered.
I can
But
relate.
yeah. So then my mom goes, "Well, you gotta do something." So she hands me the Southgate paper, and they had Taekwondo for $25 a month at the time, and it was just 2 days a week. And I
Okay.
went in and I saw somebody get kicked in the mouth, and I was like, "Wow, I think I want to try that."
Yeah, I hooked.
After I got my black belt in Taekwondo, I think I was like 18, 17 or 18. I started
Mhm.
messing around with jujitsu. And
Gotcha.
then from there, the place I was going, they started charging an absorbent amount just to
Yeah,
do month to month. Because at the time, I was like 18 years old.
yeah,
I was going to college. I was working. I was volunteering at the Taekwondo program. There was just a lot for me to do. So
for
I was
sure.
like, I can't make a year. I can't make a year commitment because that's just not on the table right now. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna do month to month. Well, after I got my blue belt, they started charging me. Wanted to charge me like $250 a month,
yeah,
275, something like that. And they said this is for unlimited, so you can get your purple belt. And I was like, bro, like it's 2006, like that's a lot of freaking money.
yeah.
It's a lot of money now,
That's a lot of money
but
now.
I
Yeah.
was like, nah, I'm out. Yeah. So what I did was I started looking around and I found Legends MMA and with
Mhm.
Eddie Bravo and Chris
Okay.
Riley. Well,
Yeah.
the people that really started it was Boss Rutan and Randy
Mhm.
Couture. But
Okay.
by the time I joined, they had sold it to Chris Riley.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyways, the original 10 Planet guys were there, and that's where I started training. And I didn't even think about fighting until my coach was like, "Yo, you're here all the freaking time, anyways. Why don't you just try a fight?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, sure, screw it, let's do it." And then from then on, I was like, yeah, college. I think I'm gonna drop the college thing right now because I can always go back to college, but I can't go back to fighting.
That's
So
true. So would you? I've seen that you're obviously you're really good everywhere, but your ground game has been your strength in most of your fights. Is that where you think that your strengths are? How do you think you stack up against the UFC's bantamweight division?
I honestly don't see my strength as being the ground.
Okay.
What I see my strength is being annoying until they give me something to finish with.
Okay.
It's not like I'm shooting powerful doubles, getting
Yeah.
to the ground, just manipulating people. I'm not doing that. And it's
Mhm.
also not like I'm going out there and I'm just mollywhopping people to the
Yeah.
point where I just, break their face like Ngannou. Like that's never been my style. But I
Yeah.
have been able to mix my level, go from grappling to striking, striking to grappling to wrestling, and feed, get things in the gaps in between.
Mhm.
And eventually just the pressure will lead me to some sort of victory. I go in there and I always think I'm going to finish this guy and I got to find out. So
Yeah.
going in there and just finding what I can get and then just taking it, you
Got
know,
you.
as far as me stacking up with the rest of the bantamweight division, there's some guys in there that I've already beaten.
Yeah.
There's some guys that are in there that have turned down fights against me before getting into the UFC.
Yeah,
You know,
you beat Kyler Phillips, right?
yeah, in a split decision. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that was his first official loss.
Okay.
The only loss he had before that was an exhibition bout, but that was on the Ultimate Fighter.
Gotcha.
So that was a hard fight. I mean, Kyler is he's a tough young man, and other than his last fight, I mean, he still looked impressive in his last
Yeah, he
fight.
looked good in his last fight. Yeah.
A lot of he showed a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
Maybe his gas tank wasn't the best, but he still showed much improvement, and he's been whooping ass in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
So, the bantamweight division is absolutely stacked. I do feel, however, that it's now that I'm here, it's time to roll my ass on through.
Yeah, it's even more stacked now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So considering you're fighting on the UFC 270 card, what is your prediction for the fight between Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane?
You know what? Like, I want to say that the more complete martial artist is Cyril Gane, but you can never. I mean, just like Deontay Wilder said, they gotta be perfect for the
entire
fight. For 5 rounds. Well, in his case, 12 rounds, but in this case, for 5 rounds, he has to be perfect for 5 rounds. And Ngannou just got to be perfect for 2 seconds.
Yeah, just a second.
And he can knock somebody's head off.
That's true.
So as far as athleticism and everything, it's going to be hard to tell. It's not like Ngannou, of course, has crazy amounts of power. All he needs to do is connect. I don't think he's as strong as a Derek Lewis to where he could just magically get up.
Yeah.
Just like Derek Lewis seems
that's a different kind of strength.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that he's just going to go out there being a complete slob either, relying on his power. I do think that he is working on his boxing, but it's always really hard to count out that kind of power with these kinds of gloves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, Ngannou definitely showed a lot of improvement in his technique in his last fight, but obviously Cyril is just, technique. Both these guys for heavyweights are crazy good athletes, but it's just the skill of Gane or the power of Ngannou, I think, is what it comes down to. So it's a hard fight to pick.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it should be interesting. It should be either interesting for a long time, or it's going to be great for a short time.
For a short time, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Kind of like a real bad relationship.
That's true. All right, man. Well, you're getting ready for fight week. Is this your last week of training right here?
No. I mean, I'll train throughout the cut week too, but of course you take the intensity down because your main focus is staying sharp and just getting rid of the weight.
For sure.
But as far as real hard 3-a-days and running and all that stuff, yeah, pretty much.
Finish that up this week. Okay. Is it a bad cut for you or pretty easy?
They all suck.
They all suck.
I mean, they all suck. I mean, I've heard the argument, "Hey Vic, why don't you go down to 25?" And I'm like, bro, no, because as it is, I don't maintain, like, even out of fight camp, I maintain training, and I walk around at about 155 pounds.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. But you got some of these bantamweights that push 160, 165.
Oh yeah.
And, hey, that's good for them, but we've seen time and time again where some people are just in the wrong weight class.
Yeah.
And either they're too high or they're too low. And just because you beat the scale the day before does not mean you beat the person the next day. Yeah. A couple bantamweights that I can name go down to 25 and they didn't do so well.
Yeah.
And you can argue, well, this person, that person. Well, the point is your brain doesn't do too well when you dehydrate it so much and then you get kicked, or punch and kicked and elbowed and kneed in the face the next day. Yeah, definitely. And there's other fighters where they were just doing that and then they said, screw that, I'm gonna fight heavier, and they did great. Yeah. So
or vice versa.
So it's you have to be able to, each fighter, it's a personal sport. Each fighter has to be able to cut weight and fight at a weight that you can fight at. Yeah. Some people it's heavier, some people it's lower. I feel like 35 is a great weight class for me because I don't feel like I'm super depleted. Yeah. But at the same time, I got to cut. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's always tough. Yeah, man. Well, I'll let you go. I'll let you get some rest in, and thanks for doing the interview, man.
No problem, man. Have a good one, man.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, peace, man.